Hi everyone, this is Dr. Shanmugapriya, a PrepLadder faculty for biochemistry. I am excited to introduce to you all Dr. Mohit Kaushik, who is a student of BHU Varanasi. He is here with us because he has scored an amazing or astonishing rank of 12th in the latest INI CET May 2023 exam. What is more interesting to know about Dr. Kaushik is this is the first attempt for him at INI CET. And he just finished his internship 2 months back. And he says this is a comeback for him from a rank of 1700 in the latest NEET PG 2023. So we are all here, Dr. Mohit, to know from you the tips and strategies that you followed for your comeback and for having attained such a high position as a fresh intern.
First of all, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to start by saying it's an honor to be on a platform like PrepLadder. And it was something I was dreaming about when I started my preparation, that one day I just get a chance to, share my pitfalls, where I went wrong, and what I feel I did differently that helped me. But I was never sure. You cannot be sure, right? I was never sure that I will one day get a chance to meet one of the faculties that teaches and share it. But again, if I did something right, then only I got a decent rank, and I would love to share it with everyone.
No doubt.
So let me start. So I was not a person who liked studying for an exam. I like medicine in total. I always wanted to be a doctor. My parents are doctors, but that is just the start of the inspiration. I have seen doctors, patients since a very long time. So it is embedded in me very deep. And this is just the start of the journey. I want to do a lot. Coming back to the questions and the paper and the INI CET, because that is what everyone is interested in, right? So just like I said, I like studying. In second year, in the middle somewhere, I started with preparing my notes. But I have always stuck with the standard books, especially for the first and the second years. I'd say in my personal opinion that for the third and fourth years, of course, standard books are a better way to go. But I felt that enough is taught to us by the faculties available at different platforms. So for the first and second years, I would definitely, you cannot lose your Robbins. You cannot leave out Ganong. I think today, or maybe in the next 100 years, these books will sustain. But you have to plan it smartly. Like I read Robbins twice, and that to the initial 10 chapters. So I wouldn't, recommend reading the entire systemic pathology for, kidney and nephrology twice or thrice, which I've heard some people say. In my opinion, you need to strengthen the basics, like the first book of the Robbins. That's gold. Then you need your Ganong. I read Ganong at least 2 to 3 times. I have a friend who read it 10 to 12 times, but I believe 2 to 3 times is good to go. So I started with my preparation in second year somewhere, but I was very casual about it. Just, getting to conceptualize my mind early. क्योंकि मैम आपने सुना होगा बोलते हैं कि नई चीज सीखना मुश्किल है, बट गलत चीज को भुला के सीखना और मुश्किल है.
True.
So I started reading conceptually shuru se. Then for the third year I did the same. But I made sure somewhere between the mid-final year, I was done with my notes. I was done by my first reading. Then I took a break for 3 to 4 months. I focused on my fitness, on my body, going to the gym, learning guitar. Because I had some time. I was done with my notes in the COVID era. I told myself, kar lo, fir relax karo. But my proper preparation with timely grand tests, focusing on the Q-band, and planning my revisions started from my internship second month, because we have proper internship in IMS BHU. Like हमें बोला जाता है आप पढ़ो, but ये भी आपकी पढ़ाई है.
Correct.
And आपके our seniors have also done exceedingly well almost every year. So we knew कि नहीं, we are not going wrong. हम काम भी कर सकते हैं, हम सीख भी सकते हैं और हम पढ़ भी सकते हैं, बस मेहनत थोड़ी लगेगी.
Correct.
And that is what I was taught at my home also.
Great.
So I planned but the one thing I feel I did correct is I started GTs in the start of my preparation itself in the internship.
Nice.
So I never planned my studies, but somehow it ended up being one grand test every 2 weeks. And with the time, I saw, I'll not say exponential, but there was a constant growth in my ranks. For example, ma'am, it started with somewhere between 12, 1300. Eventually, by the sixth test, I was under 200, and it did not fall from there.
Good. Very good. So to summarize what Dr. Mohit just now said, I would say the striking point here is start early, right? He
Yes.
started much earlier. He started from your second year to prepare for his exam. And the second striking feature is he said, learn conceptually, right? So I am in favor of conceptual learning always. I'm very happy to hear that from a topper here. And the third one is reading textbooks. I see that students these days deviate from reading textbooks. They try to use all shortcuts. I'm not against any of those shortcuts. Yes, all videos, listening to all videos, listening to all lectures, writing granters, all these are necessary. But as he rightly said, all these textbooks are nowhere to go, right? They are there with us to guide us exactly the way we are supposed to progress. So textbook reading is essential. And then grant tests. So I was really taken aback. I was surprised to hear from him that he has written around 30 to 35 grant tests starting from his internship period. So I was also asking him about how he did after the grant test. He said analyzing grant test performance and analyzing every question of grant test was the key. Am I right?
Definitely, ma'am.
So, though he says he's not a planned person, he kept repeatedly telling me that I'm not a person who would plan, I'm not a person who would schedule. But if you look at his conversation, every part of it shouts out about his consistency. Starting from second year, has always been consistent. He has finished his notes taking during his COVID period. So I would say to all the students who are watching this video that consistency is the key. Start early. And it should be an intrinsic discipline that you maintain to be successful in any field. And be a dreamer, as Dr. Mohit just said. He dreamt of being interviewed by a person who teaches and to be on a platform like PrepLadder, and he has achieved it. Yeah, congratulations again, Mohit. It's truly inspiring. And can you elaborate on... Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So I did not remember this, but when my rank came last night, my dad was with some of his friends, and I did not remember this, but he told मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा आश्चर्य इस बात का हुआ कि ये लड़का एक हफ्ते. Actually, my dad is also a busy person, so it's like we have to match our timings we launch to meet, but कभी-कभी match करना पड़ता है. So he was like, I was surprised that he came to me 7 to 8 days back, and he was like, पापा लग रहा है इस बार 10-12 के आसपास रैंक आ जाएगी. प्रिपरेशन उस टाइप की, क्योंकि उससे ज्यादा का तो आप सोच नहीं सकते. इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. एंड आई वाज सरप्राइज. सही में बोला था मैंने बिफोर द एग्जाम.
Oh, that's amazing. That accurate you had predicted. That's nice. So I'm happy for you and your parents. So can you elaborate on how you analyze your grant test post writing it?
Definitely, ma'am. So initially what I did was I was not very thorough with the topics. So for example, in my first grant test, I got, I guess, 123 or 33 correct for my NEET ones. And for my AIMS ones, I got 118 to 19 correct, which was not a lot. So what I did was I went through all the questions because I was doing a major portion wrong. It took me a lot of time. So I used to review one TT within 2 to 3 days because it can be completely exhausting if you do it at once. Also, I had my surgery internship initially. So I took my time. I clubbed it with my studies. Like when I was done with reading, I was bored with reading rather, I'd say. I went to a grant test and, just started swiping it because I love to see my mistakes. So for that, my mind somehow gets more alert and active. Like if I read passively, I'll start scrolling the Instagram. I'll start looking at a bodybuilder training, or I'll start just doing anything. But when I'm doing something wrong, I'll make sure ये कैसे गलत हो गया मेरे से, ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए था. So that is, I tried to use my disadvantages in a more useful way.
Rectify
So
all.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So I took 2 to 3 days. And also one thing I would recommend, that I had this friend of mine. She also got a rank of 200 in this INI CET. It was her first attempt. So during the later times, if we are both tired, either of us would explain it to the other person. Because sometimes, not always, if we plan to give the grant test together, it was easier to discuss, and I believe it remains more permanently in your mind.
Yes, surround yourself with the people who are equally inspired as you.
Exactly.
Right?
And eventually, when I was a bit more comfortable, there was a time I was able to give 2 to 3 grant tests in one day. So during that time, I gave 2 grant tests on one day, and I could easily revise those two the other day. Because and eventually, initially it was every 2 weeks. Then I tried making it weekly. There was also a time I did not give any for 1 month, when I felt that my revision is lacking.
Yeah.
But the biggest change I made between NEET and AIMS is that NEET told me that you need to practice. So between NEET and AIMS, contrary to what people say, I did not open my notebooks and my notes except for the mistakes I made in the exams. And I gave about 15 to 20 GTs, that's it, in this period.
Good. So he reiterates about the significance of writing a grant test and about analyzing the performance during the grant test and about reviewing every MCQ that is asked in the grant test. So this cannot be stressed anymore, I feel, to all the students who are watching this.
And so I'll stop. Just one more thing I missed out. So what I did was, after 2 weeks or 1 week, I opened my grant test and I just selected the wrong ones and I went through them once more.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Concentrate more on where you make mistakes. And when I had a conversation before this interview, he was saying something about it's not just about having a 20th notebook, it's also about identifying the pattern of mistake which everybody commits. So, so every student here, my suggestion and his suggestion is to find out the pattern of mistake that you make and make a note of it and try to have a look at it before the exam so that you don't commit the same mistake in the exam. Because Mohit had many examples of what mistake he made in the first NEET PG, which he corrected in INI CET, right? So,
yes.
Yeah, so there are so many good points that Dr. Mohit has put forward to us as tips and strategies. And my best wishes to Dr. Mohit again. To summarize all that Dr. Mohit said, be consistent, start very early, do grant tests, do as many grant tests as possible. Try to find out the pattern of mistake which you make and surround yourself with people who are equally inspired as you. And you grow them and they grow you.
Ma'am, building up on that, as you said, I believe we as a person are a mix of the 6 people we surrounded. It's not something I came up with. I read it somewhere that each one of us is the average of the 6 people that we surround with. Oh. Usually there are 5 to 6 people we spend our 90 to 95% of the times with.
Totally agree.
And you'd find out you end up incorporating 1/6 of each person's good and bad habits inside you.
That's you.
This is something I have felt myself. And since when I've surrounded with the people whom I would aspire to be like and get the good qualities from, and the people who actually believe in me. Like after NEET, I was like, yaar, itna bura ho gaya. I knew why. I knew I could do it. But you need someone to tell you sometimes, no matter how strong you are. That's the reality. And we'll have to face that we are just humans. And we'll have to surround us with people who support us. There's no other way to excel. मतलब बड़ी बातें हैं. But this is just what I felt after NEET. So I liked sharing it.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Mohit. My best wishes for all your future endeavors. What do you plan on taking?
Ma'am, most likely surgery.
Surgery.
I want something which treats the person instantly. After all, we are all studying to treat patients at the end. So the instant gratification that you get in surgery, I cannot imagine in any other department.
Nice. Yeah. My best wishes to you. not only in medical field. I can see that you're an all-rounder. My best wishes for you to develop all your skills, including your guitar skills and bodybuilding all together. Yeah.
Ma'am, I gained 40 pounds in my preparation, so I had to sacrifice a lot.
That happens. That happens. You'll get back to your original shape and size. Best wishes. Thank you. Thank you.